Tonight, the ever-pressing question, actually making the rounds around social media, in case you hadn't noticed. Are lease purchase programs really damaging trucking? Sound off and let us know in the comment. Let us know your thoughts, because we're going to talk about it tonight. We're going to talk about that as well as a few other interesting headlines we've missed throughout the week. And just catch up on the world of trucking, as it were. In everyday activity, in the news, in my life, and in your life. So sit back. Let's get the party started. Let's have some fun. Let's learn things. From Truckin City Central Command, you are on the front lines. Truckin News.
The semi-truck driver accused of causing that deadly crash on Highway 285 this week now under arrest.
Cutting edge opinion. And we will make trucking great again. Built for truckers.
You should be hauling that freight based on what works for you.
By truckers.
Remember, get them done.
Featuring.
I think trucking is a very good career.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Majority of the blame is the companies.
And we don't do it just for us and our families. We do it for you guys.
Hosted by the El Rushbo of Truckin News, Boss Man. 860-785-3547. 860-785-3547. And up to now, unutilized number. I encourage you in the audience, if you are interested in participating in a show unlike no others, give that studio line a call. We have this network here for you. We are here talking about news once a week on Frontlines, other times during the week on what I like to call Truck City Journal. Here, it's about the news. It's about information you can use, tips and tricks to help you be more successful. All in the name of making trucking great again. That's what we do here. We want to bring back the old days of trucking when, at one time or another, it was an enjoyable profession and still can be. It's all in the mindset. Tell me, do you have a positive mindset? Do you have your act together? Well, if you have your act together and you have your thoughts about you and you want to lease a truck nowadays, you better stand tall and listen to the rest of this broadcast, because this idea of leasing trucks is currently being reconsidered by the FMCSA. And they have actually toyed with the idea of scrapping it altogether. So we're going to get into that because there's an article in Fleet Owner I have linked in the description of this live show. I urge you to go read it, look at the information, consider your options. Which, by the way, before we end the show, I'm going to give you a few tips on my perspective on things to look for if you're going to consider leasing a truck. It's obviously good common sense information. If you're thinking about it, if you've never done it, if you're curious, put a comment or question in. We'll get to them as quickly as we can. I've got a panelist selection right now of well over 150, almost 200 years. They're in the background right now waiting to come on and have a good time discussing this very issue. A couple of them know quite a bit about this, so I'm looking forward to hearing what they got to say. But I'm going to ask you, are these so-called opportunities called leasing to own really a pathway to independence, or are they a one-way ticket to financial ruin? Because you know what? I mean, everybody I talk to has a different take. There's different opinions just depending on where you fall in the industry. What are you doing right now? Are you a company driver? Are you, in fact, leasing a truck from a mega carrier in what you think is a dead-end opportunity? Have you really thought through what you're going to get at the end of that lease? Are you able to walk away with a truck? Can you go anywhere? Can you do whatever you want with that truck? Have you looked at your lease terms to see whether or not you can even do that? Are you able to get your own mechanical evaluations done, your own work done at your own cost, at your own leisure? Can you fuel up wherever you want using your own money as opposed to the company card? Can you freely go out and look on the spot market for your own loads? Or are you obligated to look strictly where this carrier you work with says you have to? Bottom line is, and all these things I bring up, what are your options? Before you signed on the dotted line, did you actually look at those options? Did you think it through? Or are you now in a lease program that you're looking at saying, holy crap, what the hell did I get myself into? By the way, Heidi Ho, my name is Bossman. I am the CIC of the United States of Trucking, run by a organization I like to call the Truth in Broadcasting. I bring these shows to you every week, each one of them with a different angle. It's based on a news story I find interesting and I find necessary to disseminate to you my opinion and share yours as well. It's not all about me. This is about you. This program, this channel is built by truckers for truckers. We are Truckin' News with a kick. I welcome you to call in anytime during the show. If you've got something to add, give us a ring here, 860-785-3547. We want to hear from you. You can send us at any time your ideas on stories you want talked about, covered, or just a question on. Send it to that's truckinnews@outlook.com. That's truckinnews@outlook.com. Also, remember, folks, we grow because you know. TruckinCityMedia.com is a best way to find. I'm not giving you URLs and crap you're never going to remember. TruckinCityMedia.com. Simple. Why make it complicated? We stand together in this industry and we get things done. It's been proven, fact over fact, time over time. So do me a favor. Whatever you get from this show, don't just stop there. Tell fellow truckers, tell your boss, tell your mom, tell your pop, anybody in trucking, let them know there's somebody out there fighting for you, not just the media blowhards that don't have time for you. We want you to succeed. So y'all, welcome to the show. I'm glad you're joining us today. We want to talk first about a couple of headlines. In case you missed it, in case you don't have time to look, I want you to know about some headlines. Trucking company in California, one of many, left in the limbo after California decides to abandon its plans to ban diesel vehicles. Wasn't that long ago, Trump stood in front of his inaugural party and said, we will eliminate the electric vehicle mandate. Well, that's got everybody in a tizzy. By then, of course, California had already had its ban in place on the sale of new cars starting after 2035. And thanks to a waiver from the EPA shortly before Trump took office, it's really unclear now, because he said what he said, and California's doing what they're doing, what federal officials will now be able to do to rescind that EV mandate. One such person, pictured here, one such person actually said that the Republicans were successful in convincing people across the country that the government was coming for their cars. And now all of a sudden, this thing happens with Trump, and they're like, we don't know what to do. The link will be in the chat. I will place it in the chat as we go through, so keep an eye out for it. These trucking companies want answers, and you know what? I don't blame them. Trump administration could sideline female truckers. Another article I found interesting. Policies aimed at protecting and elevating women in the trucking industry will face tough new scrutiny by the Trump administration. Just days after FMCSA sent to Congress a status report, President Donald Trump issued a regulatory freeze order barring all executive departments and agencies from proposing or issuing rules until said department and administration had the chance to have everything figured out. I think it was a 90-day freeze. I may be wrong. Comment if I am. But until things are figured out, he wants everything to just take a halt and look back. So that angered some people. There's an article talking about the policies aimed at protecting and elevating women. So that is in a FreightWaves article. I'll leave that link as well. A trucker in Canada honored while trying to help a fellow driver escape a wreck, managed to get himself trapped as well, but still managed to help the trucker. Story goes that on November 27th of last year, around 7:30 in the morning in Bowden, Alberta, Canada, a gentleman was driving along Highway 2 and spotted a wreck in the shoulder ahead of him, and he stopped. The tractor trailer had rolled over, blocking nearly the entire roadway, so he's obligated basically at that point to stop and help, and gladly he did. He helped the driver break out the window and managed to crawl in to try to help him as the guy was injured. In the process, another vehicle came up and struck the wreck, further pinning not only the person in, but the person helping as well. So while they were trying to help them, they wound up getting trapped as well. So at a later point in time, he was honored for his heroism. It's a good story. The link will be below in truckersnews.com. If you guys want some good reads, those 3 stories are there for you. So let's bring our panelists on to talk about those and other things going on in trucking. Let's get to the front lines, shall we? Poet, you are definitely more probably versed than any of us on the goings on with that last story I brought up. Do you have any more insight on that story?
What, the wreck?
Gentleman on the 27th of November that was in Alberta and
believe it or
saved
not,
another fellow?
that is about 12 miles south of where I live.
Really? Okay.
Directly south.
Yeah.
I am 2 miles away from that highway, and then it's 10 miles south to go to Bowden.
Yeah.
All right. I'd heard about it. Okay. On the day it happened.
Yeah.
Because I'm in a couple of chat rooms on Facebook with
Good for you. Good for you.
truckers, and but I haven't heard much else. I haven't heard if they were both okay or what happened in the aftermath.
Yeah. We're going to get into that point here in just a minute. Trucker Mike, please hang on because I'm about to get into an opinion myself and talk about your comment as well. So definitely bear with us. I like the fact that the gentleman in question is being honored because apparently from what little I read in that article, he has suffered greatly for just his heroic action. So good for him. If he watches this show, you are one good man. We definitely owe you a whole debt of gratitude for being able to help that gentleman out. So, gonna bring another gentleman on. So we'll be back with you here in just a moment, Poet. Larry, the trucker, how are you, my friend? Tell us a little bit about your purposes here today. What draws you into the front lines every week?
I'm Larry, the trucker, and yeah, that's a good show. Everyone should tune in.
Yeah, know it. What about you?
No.
What are you famous for, my friend? Dream Matt.
I do Larry Visits and Story Time with Larry on YouTube and TikTok and Facebook. So
links to every one of these panelists is in the description down below. Please check them out. Show them some love. These guys are what make the show, as well as everybody watching. So God bless you. Thank you, Larry, for joining us. So I just put up a comment. I didn't know if you wanted to kind of opine on this. I don't want to keep Trucker Mike waiting all day. I feel that particular companies' fleece and fleece purchase programs are predatory, giving lease purchase programs a bad name.
There are predatory leases.
Yeah.
I was at a company called Hurricane. So yeah, I understand that a lot.
Yeah.
But there are good ones out there.
I was going to say, as we get deeper into the show, I want to make sure people understand what the difference is. I mean, you hear the term predatory leasing, and the severity of what's being discussed really, I think, escapes most people. It's just a flagrant term that media had just thrown out, and they talk about this as if it's the holy grail to the reason the industry's going south. When really a lot of it has to do with us, because, as much as these leases are there, whether they're good or bad is irrelevant. The fact that you don't do your homework, don't actually look at the thing, and actually decide to sign on the dotted line, there's a lot of culpability in that too. So we're going to get into some of that as we dive into this, and get into my opinion. So definitely hang on. I'm glad you're with us because you have personal experience with this. So just hang tight with that. Bring some other guests on and warm up this show and bring everybody back. Good day to Thumper and Bo. If Bo is hanging out somewhere in there, welcome to our show.
He's somewhere in the shop.
Yeah. Tell us about yourself, my friend.
Thumper and Bo here. Bo is my dog that rides with me. We haul cattle across the Midwest, and you can find me on TikTok, that Minnesota Trucker Guy 91, which is actually going to get switched to Thumper and Bo.
You keep saying that. You haven't done it yet.
No, after discussions I had last night on some lives, people are like, "Oh, your name is so long." And I'm like, "Okay, YouTube, you can find me on Thumper and Bo, and I kind of give you."
We'll have to toy around with the idea of nicknames because I think you're able to do nicknames on other social media platforms, but you cannot do that on YouTube. So after the show, you and I will talk about that. So real quick, what are your thoughts on the first three headlines? I read about the women's story, the Alberta thing, and the first story talking about the regulatory freeze. What's your thoughts?
Well, first I want to say kudos to the guy on that wreck. That's actually something I would do is jump out and help another driver.
That shows a real trucker right there.
It does.
Somebody's willing to do that. Yeah, because I mean, we have to look out for each other while we're out here. So.
And that right there is what can make trucking great again, helping each other out.
Amen.
We're never really going to get back to the old ways that it really was, but if we could start respecting one another and start working with each other, we will be a lot better, I guess, community, you would say.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, we are, but and then as far as the lease purchase goes, I've never been in one I don't know if my situation counts as I've been in one or not, but
I feel like you can offer a lot because you have the knowledge of actually purchasing trucks from a different perspective. So you almost have to look nowadays at lease purchase as a kind of a finance agreement, the same way you would buy a truck for your company. You have to think of everything you do as a business, and that's what a lot of people fail to do.
Yeah, I mean, the best thing I could say is if it sounds like it's too good to be true, stay the hell away from it.
Yeah.
Because you're just set up. My opinion, like good example, Larry. Larry works for me now. And I've actually been kind of toying the idea with him about him purchasing the truck that he's in.
Right.
Now, it's going to be like the way I would do it. It'd be a gentleman's agreement type of deal. He would be.
We'll get
friend.
No disrespect. I want to move on to one more guest. Get on to the rest of it. I do want to hear more about that because that actually leads into how you delineate the good from the bad. So it's interesting that you brought that up. So good call on that one. So hang tight on that point. We'll get back to you in just a second here. Bring on my co-host. I should have brought up first, but I saved the best for last. What can I tell you? Unmute yourself, my friend. Give us the rundown on what makes Grumpy grumpy.
Sitting in the backstage waiting on my host to allow me to talk. That's what makes Grumpy grumpy.
Yeah. You don't like it. You can always hit that backstage button, my friend. Anyway.
Yeah.
So how do people find you? What can we do to look you up?
Well, I'm known as Grumpy, but I go by the Grumpy Old Trucker on pretty much every social platform you can find out there that are real popular right nowadays. You've got TikTok, you've got Facebook, you've got YouTube, you've got and such on. I'm not going to. I'm out there, my friends. If you see that avatar behind me right there, it's me. There's no doubt about it. You're not going to get another Grumpy Old Trucker.
No confusing the OG. God bless you, my friend.
No.
So what do you think of the first three headlines I brought up? Anything come to mind? Anything you want to mention about it?
Lease-Purchase. Well, definitely research it before you go to work for it. I don't down them because just like somebody has mentioned, I don't know if that comment's still around, but Lease-Purchase can be good if you are one that stays out and works your tail off. You're not going to make any money if you go home. If you have a home, and if you've got a lot of bills, you're going to have to be out there busting butt. That's all there is to it. Lease-Purchase has benefits of some are walkaways. That means if it does not work out for you, you can leave, give them their equipment back in the same standings you received it in. No worries. But it's
exactly. Yeah.
Oh,
I'm just agreeing with you.
But yeah, it's a very touchy subject. But I myself have tried it twice.
There he is. There's the Bo.
I'll be honest with you. Well, hello, Bo. Thanks for stealing my lines.
I'm bringing everybody up. This is now a good time to bring everybody up.
But it's a factor on that
feedback issue. So
if you really want to get into trucking and that's where you want to go, definitely research it. Make sure you're going to be able to do it. Make sure it's something you're wanting to do. If it's something you want to try out and you're not sure, try the Lease-Purchase where you're able to walk away from it first. That's my suggestion. And I've done it twice, and honestly, I tried my best at it. It didn't work for me because of my situations at home. But those are people that can do that.
Yeah, there are indeed. Yep. All right. Well, let me get on to kicking this show off from a couple of different perspectives. So bear with me, guys, and let's talk about what you know about the press leading up to now about lease programs. It's been under scrutiny for a while. Leasing has gotten bad press. Well, there is good and bad on both sides of this. Okay, everybody, make sure you're muted because I'm hearing some background noise. Let's dive in and figure out two key facts here. Okay, one is, what if we have it all wrong? Honestly, okay. Before you fire up in the comments, let me pose a question to you. All right. What if we've been looking at all of this the wrong way? The FMCSA calls lease purchase programs, according to this report in Fleet Owner, look it up yourself, irredeemable tools of fraud. That's the term they use. But now, could the bigger problem lie within the bad actors that are using lease purchase programs to exploit these people rather than the system itself? So the question I'm posing by this is it the system or is it the people? Comment down below and let me know what you think. So let's think about this, okay? According to the report filed, fact one, less than 1 in 100 drivers financially succeed in lease programs, okay? The FMCSA data, it's a gut punch to the whole idea. They say this fact, and that's not a pathway to independence. According to them, it's a recipe for failure. Fact number two, they state, drivers often end up in debt. The report shows drivers leaving programs deeper in debt when they started or leaving it at the moment they leave, deeper than they were when they started. That's totally my bad. I'm messing up my words. They get negative paychecks, they get in debt, and they've got no way out. So they wind up with a seriously bad taste in their mouth. They want to know what went wrong. They feel like it's them. Sometimes it can be. Other times, not. Second angle I want to look at it from is the angle of retention. Because when all of this goes wrong, okay, it's not about squeezing every last dime out of the person behind the wheel, okay? We as drivers, if we're leasing a truck from a carrier, we want success. We want what comes naturally. We want to do our job. We want to be properly rewarded. And we want the opportunity to exercise the dream in front of us. And when we're hit with a lease program, now irrelevant for just this moment, is whether or not we put the blinders on and just go nuts and don't look the fine print, which we should. But when that happens, 9 times out of 10, those drivers leave the industry. They don't come back. So when you want to talk about real retention, in my eyes, this task force, if done correctly, could be a pathway to fixing a retention problem we've had for a long time. Now, there's other things, and I'll get to that in future videos and live shows. Stick around for that. Subscribe today if you want to know more. But I'll tell you, honestly, retention can be fixed by simply fixing what's already broken. Just like you say, Grumpy, if it ain't fixed, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. This is broken. In a former video, I said, is trucking broken? Well, in this regard, it is. Because there's way too many people out in this industry that are bad actors. So, the rest of the show, I want to look at a path forward, a way to fix this that does not involve outlawing leasing. I myself lease this truck I'm in. I don't want to lose the ability to get that because you know what? I want to own this truck or I wouldn't be doing it. So I want to be very careful to say, I don't want to outlaw leasing and I don't want leases that work for many of you watching to be outlawed either, because that would put a serious hurting on this industry. Comment down below or in the chat if you agree with me. If we did exactly what I just talked about and completely eliminated leasing as we know it, what do you guys think would happen to the trucking industry? There ain't many options left if leasing goes away. What do you think, Grumpy? Grumpy, unmute yourself. There you go.
There we go.
Gotta be quick. Gotta be quick.
Yeah. Anyhow, like I said, you know, there are these lease programs that are fit for people that are able to do, just like yourself, boss man. Your particular deal you're into is a lease program that you've done research on, you know what you're walking into, therefore you're willing to do it. But a lot of these folks out here, they jump into trucking and they're like, I want a truck now. So what do? They go sign on a dotted line with somebody, a big company carriers something, and they wind up getting into this, and then they've stuck, and that carrier's not walk away, and then they get behind on their bills. They're not making paychecks big enough to take care of their home bills. If they have a family, their family's yelling at them. So I mean, do your research before you jump into something.
I agree to disagree.
Okay.
Well,
Before
fine,
you do that, Thumper, hold that thought 1 second, because there is a new entrant into the owner-operator field that's currently backstage. I'm going to bring him in and get his take on this. Welcome to the show, my old friend. What is your calling old? Funny. What's your talk? What's your thought on what I just said as to my opinion of a lease purchase program? What do you think?
I don't think they should get rid of it altogether. Basically, the avenue I would think to take would be to get rid of the predatory side of it, the balloon payments at the end, the extremely high interest, and now there are people out there that would disagree with me on this one, but the payments that basically force you to stay out for 3 years straight in order to survive.
Right. So. Exactly. Thumper, what were you going to add? You partially disagreed with what Grumpy had said. What did you want to add to it?
It's not so much I want a truck, what they want. I will show you what they want. And you can't, the reason why I have the trucks I have is I worked my ass off for them.
Right.
But when you have a 379 Peterbilt extended hood like this, that's what people want. You're not going to get in a truck like that right away. Start out small, T600, T680, a cheap truck, a throwaway truck like a Volvo, whatever. You got to build that equity up, and you got to get your clients and everything so you can get yourself a nice truck.
Yes, definitely. Definitely.
That's why I said I agree to disagree with Grumpy. Is I agree they want a truck, but what they want is they want a 379 or a 389 or 589, whatever model, a W900.
Right.
They want that going down the road. They want all the lights and everything. You got to earn it.
True that. At the same time, though, I'm sure, John, you're probably going to chime in with the fact that not always is it about that large nose truck or that old truck. It's all about economy. Talk to me about that.
Actually, two things I wanna say to Thumper. First of all, I don't know anybody that wants to throw away a $250,000 truck. We call them
No.
throwaway trucks. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I don't
They
think any
call
truck
they
is a
call them
throwaway truck.
the Volvos are throwaway trucks. When they're wore out, they're too expensive to repair everything on them, so they're a throwaway truck.
Yeah, but they're $250,000. That is not anything worth throwing away. And it's a
If you've
tool.
got
It's
that
like
kind of
any
money,
other
and
tool.
if
It's
you've
like
got
any other
that kind of
tool.
money, you can afford to do it. But I don't know many people that do.
It's like any other tool. Basically, when it wears out, yes, you have to get a new tool. And then the other thing would be, it depends on your niche in trucking. If you're doing cattle hauling or heavy oversized loads, dude, yes, you want that truck that you just showed. If you're
Yes.
running drive-in, if you're running reefer, and I know this isn't a popular opinion, that's not the ideal truck.
No.
I agree. I
So-
totally agree. But honestly, at the same time, I will tell you now, in the last year, I have seen a lot more Cascadias. I've seen a lot more T680s. I've even seen Volvos pulling oversized and cattle and stuff like that. And it's what's worked for them. I mean, they're getting fuel mileage a lot better than what I have. You know, I mean, I'm not going to lie. You could have an incident like Mr. Larry had the other day when we were in Wisconsin. He dumped 169 gallons of fuel on the ground while we were sleeping.
Oh, nice. I'll
But
bet
that
he
could-
feels good about that, huh?
Well, you know, it was a malfunction on the truck, is what it
Yeah.
was.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, I remember you
it's not his fault. Stuff happens, but you know, it's not. It's always not about the hooded trucks. I've actually been thinking about getting rid of my hooded trucks and going to T680s.
Let's talk about Trucker Mike's comment for a minute, because that kind of intrigues me that he's bringing that into the conversation. I kind of touched on it a little bit. He said, I'm not against lease purchase, because there are drivers who want to be an owner operator but can't get a truck the traditional way, so lease purchase is their only true option. Not necessarily their only option, but it is one that's easier to maintain if you know what you're doing.
Well,
At least
here's
the
the thing.
purchase, they don't have to do a background check. You know,
True,
or credit check. Sorry, credit check.
Some do. So it just depends on who you work with and what the terms of the lease are. It really depends.
Now, like I was kind of explaining at the beginning of the show, and you told me to hold on to my opinion. This is actually a perfect time to bring it in.
Go ahead.
I do want to update my fleet, but I know I have a few drivers that don't want to get rid of their trucks. Good example, Larry. He loves that truck. So I'm actually thinking about it and trying to figure out a way to make it work where he is renting the truck for me, and after so many years or payments or whatever, he owns it.
Right. Yep. Give us a call if you've got something you want to add and you don't want to be in front of the camera. Give us a call, 860-785-3547. We will take your call and make you part of our discussion tonight. We welcome you in there. So, I mean, options are really more prevalent than people think. I mean, lease purchase gets a bad rap because of all the bad actors, but there are ways. I'm a living example. I can think of at least two others here that have gone through it and successfully done it. One other that's not here. So it really depends on your makeup, your background, your experience, and really what you want out of trucking. So there's really a lot of variables. And the biggest problem trucking today has is all the people ruining it for the rest of us. And that's where the bad press comes in.
Can I comment on that comment?
Go ahead, John.
Here's the thing. What I did and what some other people on the panel might have done is a little different than what he's referring to. The reason why I say that is when you lease purchase, okay, if you go through like a mega carrier, you're paying rather large interests. You're paying huge payments. It's basically forcing you to stay on the road for 3 years at a time. Okay. Honestly, if you can't afford a truck, you really should go become an owner operator. And I'm being a hypocrite by saying that because when I started as an owner operator, I couldn't afford it. That's because I found a unique situation that actually worked for me. Most people aren't going to find that situation.
No.
Okay. So my advice would be, if you want to be an owner operator, save up your money so that you can buy a truck. And by the way, if you buy a truck through a bank, it's still called leasing it until you own it. It's just you're buying it from a bank rather than a carrier. But the point is, put yourself in a good financial position before you step into that role.
Yes.
If you did what I did, you're rolling the dice. You're a gambler, because one breakdown and it can cost you everything.
Now, Trucker Mike, I want to address Trucker Mike's comment. Okay, Trucker Mike, I'm going to read your comment, but I'm also going to kind of slightly disagree with what you're saying. Okay, he says, I've always been a company driver, never done a lease or lease purchase, only because most of the time I knew I'd be in the shop minimum half the time due to emissions. Now, that same statement could be true if you're a company driver. You could get a truck that's going to be in the shop half the time for emissions, just as easy if someone else's name's on the title as you can if your name's on a title. Emissions don't care about the ownership. Emissions, it's just that. The thing you've got to be kind of thinking about when you're dealing with a lease is exactly one of the things I had to think through very carefully when I decided to get into this, as well as the mistake I made in my Landstar truck. All right. I didn't put the forethought, and yes, I see you. I did not put the forethought into what happens if. That very comment you're making, Truckin Mike, is one that should scare everyone. But it's one that, if you think carefully about it and you think right about it and you plan yourself right, could actually be an asset to you. I got somebody else backstage I'm going to bring up right now that, somebody keeps messing with my panels. Damn it. Stop it. And he's got an interesting perspective. He may only be audio only, because I think that's how his connection is. But let's say hello to Boom. Fate is in the house.
Oh, I got to go.
What say you, Fate?
Good evening. How's everybody doing?
We are great. We are great.
I just want to say not all hammers are the same.
I'll leave it to you to do that.
Well, here's the thing. I love driving with John. Driving with John, you have to understand something here. Lease purchase and purchasing a truck from a bank are severely different things.
I know.
When you are
leasing a truck, though.
No, it's not. Your name's on the title.
You may or may not be able to. You may or may not be able to see, Fate. You may not be able to see the comment I just put up on the screen. It was the next one up. Same guy, Trucker Mike says, and research the company that offers the lease purchase. That's one of the things a lot of people fail to do.
Good. So hold on, John. Let me finish.
Okay, go ahead.
Let me finish.
Yeah. Let him finish.
When you do a lease purchase through a company, you are not allowed to take that truck anywhere else other than that company unless you purchase it outright, refinance it, get your own loan. You are not leasing it from the bank. When you get a commercial loan for a vehicle, that's not a lease. You're not leasing it. You are
commercial loans are totally
different
than what we're talking about.
The minute you take you can take that truck and do whatever you want with that truck. If you buy that truck from the bank one day and turn around and sell it the next day, there is nobody stopping you from that. A lease purchase is way different than a commercial loan. Way different.
Way
Can
different.
I say something now?
Go ahead, John.
So everything you said is correct and true. But the thing is I sit in a unique position right now. I actually am leasing a truck from a company and buying a truck from a bank. And the one I'm buying from the bank is considered a lease also. If you read the paperwork, it's considered a lease until it's paid off. Yes, it is.
Then you went through a leasing company to purchase that first truck. You did not go through, you do not have a commercial loan through a bank. Leasing means you owe somebody.
Maybe even going. I owe on the truck because I'm
Right,
still paying on it. But
talking about your first truck,
John.
Talking about your first truck.
Maybe but you went through my paperwork. I mean, I don't know. Did you read it in there? Because what I read is it says that it's leased to me. It's still in my name, but it's considered a lease until it's paid.
Then you purchased it through a leasing company, John.
You didn't it through a bank.
That is probably a leasing company. That's like getting a mortgage, John, and saying you're leasing your house from a bank. That doesn't happen.
It's not the same thing. It's not a commercial vehicle.
It's sure.
So go ahead.
It's a oh God. If you buy a piece of property like on a commercial loan, you're not leasing it. If you buy it, now there are banks that are leasing companies that they can tell you who can and can't drive that truck.
Right. Want to take a moment and say hello to a new member of the audience. Millie Crockett. Okay. Welcome. Hello, everyone. Thank you to Grumpy for the, y'all should be talking like Grumpy does because he's a talker, I guess. I don't know. But I just want to say hello to Millie. Thank you for that. And I want one more comment. And where was I? Feel and think people. There we go. People fresh out of CDL school immediately do lease or fleece. I like how you're combining it. After training, need to gain experience first. That is a very common problem. I think that goes partially to the retention argument I was making in my opinion. People don't know what they're doing. They tend to be subject to these bad actors, as it were, a hell of a lot easier than the people on this panel. Because I think everybody here, we collectively got almost a half 250 years plus worth of experience sitting,
I'm just a rookie.
Oh, me too. But ball. Anyway, Larry, what have you got? You've been silent, and I made this entire live show for you. Damn it, speak up, my friend.
I haven't been able to get a word in otherwise. Everyone keeps stealing my ideas.
Well, now you're in the hot seat. So what say you on these comments? What's been flying around? Have at it, my friend.
No, I don't think they should offer, for that comment there, I don't think they should offer a lease right out of CDL school.
Yeah.
You should at least have 3 to 5 years experience before they ever say, hey, you want to try leasing a truck?
Yeah, exactly.
You're coming fresh out of CDL school, and you're going to say, oh, I want this $250,000 truck.
Yep. I'm picking on Mike.
That's the first mistake you make.
Picking on Mike, Trucker Mike, because he's the biggest commenter. He says a lot of people don't have business mindset, even though they think they do.
Okay, hold up. I got a question for you, Larry. Now, say somebody went to college for business, so they have the business mindset. Okay. And then they decided, hey, they did their own thing, and they're like, well, I want to go drive truck. I want to own my own truck. They have the equity to buy their own truck. They go through the school. They have the business mindset. So you're going to put in something that says they have to have that 3 years and they can't own their own truck. They got to go work for somebody for 3 years, even though they have the business mindset.
In that circumstance, they have equity and they have capital, so they don't need
they went to business school, but what business school teaches you about trucking?
What trucking school? What trucking school teaches you about business?
No, that's not what I said. They went to college for business management. They did that for a little bit, and they said that's not for them. They want to drive a truck now, so they go and get their CDL, but they have that degree for business management, so they know how to run a business. See where I'm going with that one now?
Right.
I see where you're going with it. He still don't have the experience in truck driving.
It shouldn't matter if you have the experience in truck driving. A lot of it's dealing with finances and making sure you have the equity and everything to go to keep.
Can I say?
Go ahead, Faye.
So I see what Thumper's saying there.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not here to say somebody shouldn't go out and spend money on a truck and buy a trailer and go and start a business. The one thing I would say to that is I believe everybody that's on this panel that has started trucking, we have made mistakes. We have damaged equipment. We have done all sorts of things.
All of us.
I think doing that on somebody else's dime sets you up for success a lot easier than you taking the brunt end of all the mistakes and incidences that are going to happen when you're new to trucking.
I see 100% common sense in that statement, and I fully agree with that.
I don't get me wrong. I agree. I'm just looking at this from a different perspective. Okay.
Right.
So, like, I mean, I totally agree with what you guys are saying. Sorry, I had to go to the other side. I mean, I do. I agree. But what you're saying, in the way I'm interpreting it, I'm thinking about somebody who's never done this before. You know, I'm like totally throwing my business out the window and everything. Like, this is all new to me. And this is how I'm interpreting what you guys are saying.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm interpreting is that you guys are saying that, yes, I have the equity and everything to go do this. I have the business mindset, but now you're forcing me to go drive for a company. So you're turning people away from driving a truck because you're making them. That's how I'm interpreting it.
Well, if I understand
you're adding a regulation.
If I understand Larry correctly, he's saying if you're going to lease from a company, you're saying someone has equity, they can come in and buy a truck. More power to them. Just know that they're going to go out and damage their own crap.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'll just drop this in real quick in between these two. You know, this is not trucking affiliated, but it is a factor of having a business mindset. I, as a truck driver, as I've told this story in the past, partly, I had my own computer repair store. I started it. I've never had a day in my life, college or even tech school. I started it, and I was very successful. Well, whenever the economy goes beep, it messes up any business. And I hadn't been in business for a full year yet, so therefore it made it very hard to keep the doors open, to keep the customers rolling in, because the customers were also penny pinching. So the same with trucking. You jump into it, you better know what you're doing, because if you can't jump into it with everything, then you're kind of going to be in a bad place if you go down the drain.
Right.
Timing is everything when you enter.
We have. I want to have everybody pause for just a minute. I got a fella in the background. Judging by his name, I haven't seen him yet, so I'm going to give him just a minute to come up here and introduce himself and add to the conversation. So, I want to welcome a gentleman with the name of John, not to be confused with Driving with John. Introduce yourself, my friend. Welcome to the show.
Hey guys, how you guys doing? My name's John. I've worked for Regal Service for the last, 12 years, and I've been over the road for the last 30 plus years.
Wow.
And I've tried that lease.
Congratulations.
Not really.
Thank you for your service. Somebody with that much experience, you got definitely a perspective. So what's your thought on lease purchase?
If they lower the price on the trucks that they lease, because they're nothing but a plain Jane truck, if they discontinue the whole fees for paperwork, office fees, this fee, that fee, and everything else, I would agree with it. But I tried that lease purchase back in early 90s for 3 months with a trucking company out of Piedmont, South Carolina.
Okay.
Ran for 3 months straight, took 3 days off. I was in the hole $900.
Not a good example. Definitely not good. So.
No, and I was constantly running, constantly going, constantly in. This was before e-logs came out, GPS was out, and everything else. And
you don't have to get too personal or specific, but were you percentage, load, mile based? How was it set up?
They were paying mileage.
Were they? Okay.
So they gave you all the short loads.
I ran Houston, Jersey. I ran all over 48 states.
Wow. Okay. Well, John, I appreciate your perspective. Welcome to the show. Anybody got a question for this gentleman? Good enough to come on.
I do have a question for him.
Go ahead, Thumper.
I would say it was like maybe a month ago you were in the panel.
Yeah, about a month ago, I was in a
I
panel.
remember him.
Okay. Okay.
So
Well, that's good to know.
would you consider those fees and things as part of predatory lending, or would you consider it just a bad company that's leasing?
I would just consider that's just, I can't say it's a bad company because I don't know. Every company's different. I would just say it's the way a company wants to make more money off the lease drivers. That's my perspective. When I worked for US Express, they gave me an opportunity to lease a used truck for like $800 a week. When I was at their Springfield terminal, I was down at the Freightliner dealer, and I could have picked up a 2002, or it was an older truck, 99 or 98, and the payments would have been $1,500 a month. It had all the bells, whistles, 379 Pete, Caterpillar motor, 18 speed, the whole 9 yards.
Okay, so that's where the lease purchases really screws people. Did everybody just pick up what he said?
Yes.
$800 a week. A truck payment is $1,200 a week or $2,200 a week.
No.
Or not
No,
a month. Sorry.
A month. Yeah.
A month.
Let me
Sorry.
get.
Well,
hang
hang on.
Thank you. I want to make sure we clarified that.
I was
they're
actually
throwing numbers around. Yeah.
I was actually recently talking to somebody about Prime, about how
Yeah.
they do their thing, and their payments are very high. Okay.
Yeah.
Which I normally would be dead set against.
Finish your point, John. I got somebody on the studio line. Go ahead and finish your point.
Here's the thing about Prime. Yeah, they charge a very high payment every single week, not monthly. But at the end of their lease, they only charge you like $100. There's no balloon payment. So in 3 years, you buy a new truck. You get a 3-year-old truck for $100 after you've already driven it for 3 years and made some money off of it.
Highlight the comment on the screen. Highlighting the comment on the screen. Being a leaser myself, this coming from Kennard Roberts. Welcome to the show. Thank you for your input. Go down below and like and subscribe if you wouldn't mind. He said, I would say driving experience is more valuable than the mindset in lease because losing mostly coming from the company. So I'd be curious to learn more about why you're saying that. It says being a leaser would say driving experience is more valuable than the mindset.
He's right.
Yeah,
Driving experience versus just jumping in it and trying to own it yourself. Yes, that's kind of what we were referring to earlier today.
Yeah.
A very wise man one time said to me, I'm not going to tell you who that wise man is, but a very wise man said one time that you can eat. No, that side.
No, other way. There you go.
That's right.
Well, one of those two guys are there. They might have said something to me, something along the lines that you can either be a truck driver running a business or a business owner driving a truck. And
why didn't you steal my lines? I swear, I don't know what it is. Stick around, John. They'll go nowhere. Let's bring in a caller on the studio line. Welcome to the show. Thank you for calling our 860-785-3547. More of you should. What you got to add to this?
Not a whole lot there, boss man. Is it just me, or does it seem like some companies been using the lease program as just to get more trucks and just have somebody else pay for it for them and have them run their loads for them?
I think there are a number of companies that actually use the lease purchase programs as a crutch to get rid of the expensive maintenance. That's the way it seems to run with a lot of companies. If you watching the show, if you feel like I'm wrong, let me know. What say you, Larry?
I agree with you.
Yeah, there you go.
Look at in case I don't care who knows who I drove for before here. I drove for Hurricane.
Yeah, we know that. Not a big secret, my friend.
Okay, I don't care if it's on blast. I don't care. But anyway, you go to a Hurricane. They put you in this brand new truck.
Yep.
You start driving this brand new truck, and guess what you see coming down the road? You see about 15 or 20 more trucks just coming down the road.
Yep. Set up just the same way.
Brand new trucks.
Set up just the same way. What say you, Griff?
I want to say something.
Those are the leases.
Give Griff a minute. Go ahead.
I'm going to use myself as an example. Right now, I'm paying in between $625 and $700 a week. However I feel like it. I'm paying roughly about $2,500 a month for my truck. It's an older truck and everything, and I'm responsible for everything on it. But if I went to, from what I've noticed over the last 3 years I've been over the road and everything, on the mega carriers when they're doing the lease program, I've heard horror stories where the minimum payments sometimes might be about $1,500 a week for the truck payments, and the driver is still responsible for paying for the fuel, the maintenance, and everything else on top of that.
That's how Prime is. That's how Prime is.
Are you talking about the comment, or are you talking about Griff's statement? John.
Griff's statement. That's how
Oh,
Prime
yeah.
is. I think it's like $1,200 to $1,500 a week.
Well, look at the comment down below in case y'all can't read the screen. Trucker Mike adds, companies like Prime that offer lease programs, I feel, are just over-glorified company drivers. I think he's adding to the statement I made moments ago about the maintenance issue.
Just before my headset died, I just want to throw in there, I was looking at Iron Mountain earlier today. So if they had brand new 2026s and 2025 LTs and T680s and everything, different location stuff, they're going on, you need to put $18,000 down, but you're paying $3,000, roughly about $3,000 a month. So you divide that by 4, that's $750 a month for a brand new truck. Now, if you went to a
$750 a week.
mega carrier,
You mean a week?
Yeah, $750 a week. $3,000 a month for 42 months.
Yeah.
It's basically a brand new truck. But my point being is, you still, if you went to Lone Mountain with 20 grand and bought a lease, basically lease truck from them, rent to own, you're paying a lot less than what you would be with a current
I'm going to offer this only because you're talking about a company I actually bought my first truck from, Lone Mountain. When I bought the truck, I did not get stuck with a problem like you just mentioned. My lease payment for the truck, well, I actually financed it. My finance for that payment on that truck was only $1,350 a month. 4 years, $1,350, and I owned it. And I didn't have to worry about it. So they must have seriously changed things in the time it's, since 2017 when I bought that truck.
Well, like I said, those were brand new trucks.
Yeah.
But they have older T680s and LTs that you can put $4,000 down and you'd still only be paying like $1,800 a month for it.
Yeah.
For about 48 months.
Yeah.
That's a lot better deal than what you would be going through stuff because if I'm misunderstanding what I'm thinking on the mega carriers, once you're done with your will have a balloon payment of almost maybe $30,000 or $40,000 sometimes.
Yeah.
I may be totally wrong about that, but that's just not right. You go bust your butt for them, then at the end of it, if you're not smart about your money, you still have to pay at least another $40,000 to get the truck or just give it back.
Yeah. It'll wind up biting you in the butt if you don't do it right. Well, Griff, I'm going to let you go so your headset doesn't die. And we can continue on the show because I got a couple more things I want to cover and certainly want to make everybody smarter today. Appreciate you calling in, my friend.
You guys have a good evening.
Don't be a stranger. You keep it right, keep it rolling.
So I wanted to say one other thing here, boss man.
All right. Go ahead, Thumper.
So on that Trucker Mike's comment from earlier about company driver and stuff like that, I see where he's coming from, where he'd rather be a company driver because when you're a Lease-to-Purchase and your truck goes down, you're stuck with your truck. Larry can bounce that one. But when you're a company driver, they'll bring you another truck to use while that one's getting fixed.
Yeah. See, if that now, the Trucker Mike goes on, some companies just say they're walk away lease. To me, I don't get the point. Why get yourself involved in a lease you know damn well you're not going to get nothing for? That's my biggest problem with a lease is that some people actually openly admit you're going to get nothing. Why am I doing it then?
Well,
why am I doing it?
They're set up. They're
being honest.
Are set up to where.
Oh, good point, John.
Larry will even vouch for this too because I pointed it out to him with Hurricane. They're set up where you're making those payments and you're getting close to the end of those payments. They're like, oh, hey, we're going to get rid of that truck. Here's a new one. You're starting that lease all over again. You're never going to get out of it.
Right. Exactly.
Well, you also got to realize.
Go ahead, John.
You also got to realize that these companies, a lot of them
Red Solo
are I'm talking, and I see Thumper. So a lot of them are making more money off of leasing these trucks than they are off of the loads that they're hauling. And that is a great, like, if you see that in a company, don't lease from them. Okay.
Yeah.
You're their profit line, not the load, not the loads you're delivering, not the customers or the shippers. You're their profit.
Yep.
Just know that. Like that is what you're getting yourself into. So
exactly. John, I'm going to give you an opportunity right now. You had said you wanted to make mention of something real quick, so I'm going to give you the opportunity to do that, because after that, I've got a purpose to fill. I want to continue. So
no problem. I really do appreciate it. Actually, I couldn't stay on here much longer, so you picked a really good time. So I don't. If you're a truck driver out there and you like trucking music, do me a favor. Go check out DWJ.
You don't even know your own channel name.
DWJ Studios. Sorry guys, it's been a long day. Go check it out. It's new trucking music for truckers. Today's trucker. It's got country, rap, and we're also adding some other genres of music in there too. So go check it out. It's a fast-growing channel, and my team and I are working on it. So I think it's something that truckers are enjoying very much. Yeah,
he does have a team.
Pretty funny that he doesn't even know the name of his own music.
He has a team.
So it's YouTube.
Who needs enemies when you got friends like you guys?
Seriously.
Right?
Right?
No, I do have a team. There's multiple people working on that channel besides myself, and if that's funny, good for you. I don't know what to tell you, but the driver.
I just think it's funny that you didn't know the name of it.
But I'll give some credit where credit's due. Mr. Am I pointing the right way, guys? Because my camera's not reversed, obviously.
Yes.
Yeah, you are.
Here, yeah, he pointed me out to the way that we make the music, but it comes from our hearts, guys. Because truckers out there, I think the music that we listen to, the same songs for all these generations. It's time for some new trucking music. So go enjoy.
So let me ask real quick.
Drop a link down in the comments if you don't mind.
I was just asking about that because I was going to do that. I got a youtube.com/DWJ Studios. Is that just they handle just DWJ Studios?
Yep.
Okay. I want to make sure I do it right because I don't want to misdirect people. So I think we've got it right there in the comments.
You can just search it on YouTube. It will pop up. So.
Yep. I think it's up there in the comments. So you can go ahead and look at it.
It's also linked to Driving with John's channel. So.
Yep. I think that's right, but that's just off the top of my head. Anyway, John, I appreciate you and your team contributing to the industry in the way you are.
This is hilarious.
I don't. Yeah. I don't see you making any fancy. I don't see you making any fancy music there, Fate. Anyway,
Good night, John.
Oh, I'm not talented like that. I'll be honest. It is a good channel. There's music videos that go along with the music that are very good. I'm definitely not as talented as John is when it comes to that.
No, wait. Well, let's be honest. The reason why I need a team is I'm not a musical person. I do the video side of it, and some other members
the team
of my
member
team
does the other. That's a good strategy.
I don't know how we make trucking great again by promoting other YouTube channels, but it seems to be working out.
Yeah, well, it's just like Thumper and Bo down in the lower corner. He's actually doing his part to help out. He's got a team too, so let's give John the prop, okay? We got Thumper and Bo down there with a team, and we've got a team of everybody else here. So don't hate the messenger.
One more thing.
Wait a minute, I don't have a team.
You're part of my team.
One more thing, Boss Man. I don't know if you guys are recent subscribers to Boss Man's channel. I've been around for a while, helping him out and being on this panel, which I love.
He's hijacking my.
But I want to tell everybody out there, there's some good channels on here. Go check Grumpy Trucker, Larry the Trucker, Fate Trucking.
I deleted my channel.
By the way,
no, he didn't. I'm
the grumpy old trucker.
Their channels, they are great. They are great channels to watch. Also,
if you can sift through all the chaos on this screen at this very moment, if you're watching, you're good. You deserve to go down and subscribe right now. Because if you can manage all this, you need to know about trucking. Anyway, before we go, gentlemen, I want to go around the table and give everybody an opportunity to offer advice to anyone that's considering, if they are, a look into a lease purchase program. So, Grumpy, I'll let you go first. I'm going to go around the table. Give us some quick advice, something to think about if you're going to lease a truck.
Basically, I'm going to say, do some research on it before you try jumping into it, and make sure that you're able to commit to it. Because honestly, if you jump into one and you can't commit to it, it may not be for you. And like I said before, if you got a family and a bunch of bills, it definitely isn't for you.
Definitely, yeah. John, any last words before I go on?
Yes, I would say always remember when you're going to a company and you're going to lease, they're looking out for their best interest, not yours. Make sure that you look out for your own self.
Good deal. Good deal. Good words. Larry, what say you?
Get about 3 years experience in.
Mm-hmm.
Read that contract. If you don't understand it, take it to an attorney and let them read it.
I agree with your concept, only I think you need more than 3. I really do. I think you need at least a good decade or at least close to 1 million miles before you honestly understand enough about trucking. That's my personal thought.
Stay away from balloon payment leases and dollar buyout payments.
Thank you. Thank you. Good show. Anything to add to it, Poet?
Well, Larry just stole my thunder, but instead of 3, I would say 10 years.
Good. Okay. That was me stealing your thunder, by the way. Don't blame him.
Oh,
John, what say you?
I can blame him all I want.
All
John,
I can
what about
say
you?
is everybody else has been saying what I've been thinking. I mean, these guys that coming in from school and stuff are stupid for leasing them, not knowing what they're getting into.
Yeah, jumping in way too soon. Yeah.
Yeah,
Fate,
doing their homework,
sage advice,
no
sir?
experience, nothing.
Yep. Fate, you got any sage advice, sir?
Sign every lease. Do whatever the hell you want because you're a grown adult. Don't freaking cry about it when you fail.
You're funny. We always have at least one realist in this show. You just were introduced to him. Thank you for that. Thumper, what say you?
Read your contract. If it sounds like it's too good to be true, stay away from it and be smart about it. Honestly.
Yep.
I mean, that's just it. There was one other thing. I had it on the tip of my tongue. I can't think of it right at the moment.
Now hold that thought because we're not completely done yet. I got a couple more comments and my closing thoughts here just a moment. Dan Bacon, welcome to the show. It's a lot of chaos. Welcome. I love the idea that somebody recognizes our biggest and best talent.
It's Dawn.
Okay. Or Dawn. Sorry, Dawn. Sorry.
Okay. I'm piss poor when it comes to names. Forgive me, people. Trucker Mike also, first do your research, and if it's a true lease purchase, commit to it and go for it. If it's true, yes, fully agree with that. Couple of things I want to add to it as my closing thoughts are simply this. Understand clearly the terms of ownership. Not all leases are created equal, okay? Look for agreements that clearly outline when and how you own the truck. If there's no equity, don't sign it. And don't be messing around on screen, guys, because I'm looking at something different. Beware of controlled operations. There's, like Fate said earlier, there are circumstances where you can and can't do certain things. But obviously, when you're leasing a truck, you want the freedom and flexibility to chart your own path. Bear that in mind as you're looking at what you're about to do. And lastly, evaluate the costs. A lot of people do not look ahead at what is coming. They think it's just plain and simple. They're going to rake in the money and they're not going to have to buy anything. Grumpy, I'm going to come after you. Keep it up. But honestly, there's more to it than that. As Fate and John both said earlier, there is an element of being a businessman before being the trucker. So definitely give that some thought. Anyone, closing thoughts? Let me know.
Yes.
Learn how to work on your own truck.
There you go.
Like this gentleman right below me said earlier.
I
will say, add to that. Don't jump from the frying pan into the fire.
Oh, don't.
Okay.
My closing thoughts have nothing to do with the story, but it's some advice for truckers out there, especially new truckers. Guys, you're going to get hazed. You're going to get harassed. You're going to get picked on. Listen to what these old guys are saying. These guys have been around 25 years because they know what the heck they're talking about. So listen to
Get a mentor.
You know, we bust everybody's chops about some of the things that is said. All of us on this panel, we do it with every single person routinely, but we do it because it's fun. At the end of the day, though, the people on this panel with the experience can teach you guys a thing or two. So it pays to listen. Okay?
The problem
it
with
really
that
does pay.
The problem with that concept is.
What's that, John?
The problem with that concept is today's drivers don't want to listen to us older guys because they think they know everything, or they got this attitude they don't want to they don't want to listen and learn. They just think they're gonna go run, and I've ran into a lot of them.
I understand where you're coming from, but
Yeah.
it's because the communication level of the newer generation is different than what older people are.
Oh yeah.
The reason why I'm saying that is they might argue with you. They might even tell you that you don't know what you're talking about. But in the end, they are going to listen to you. That's how they.
Who are
that's how
you?
the new generation.
John, you do that to all of us.
Who are you calling old?
And who are you
I'm
talking
younger,
to?
so I know. I know all about the new generation.
You talking to
because I'm so young.
DWJ or are you talking to the other John?
No, John.
Driving with John.
DWJ.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Who are you calling old?
Call myself old. Sexy old senior citizen here.
Yeah.
Right?
Poet,
Good point. Good point.
Poet,
Yep.
it's not my fault that you were around with the original semis back when they had horses and wagons. Yeah.
Fucking,
That's
don't
not my
diss
fault.
don't diss your elders like that.
They
John.
didn't have horses.
No,
hey,
no.
they
John,
didn't have
John.
horses then. He pulled it
No.
by himself.
No, John.
There you go.
John.
I just
Shane
got off
Drive.
the phone. Oh,
Well, actually, in
Shane
Canada, they had
Drive.
moose. They didn't have horses. Sorry.
You wanted to say something, Pete?
yeah, I just got off the phone with my team, and they told me.
He can't even finish the statement. What are you talking about?
Listen.
Is this a team of horses you're talking about there, Fate?
There's a lot of wisdom and experience that goes around, and it doesn't matter how long you've been trucking, how none of that matters. What really matters, somebody said earlier, listening and understanding what listening is. Listening isn't having a comeback. It's not having an excuse for why you don't do something. Listening means your mouth is shut and you try to apply the things that people are saying to you, and you learn. That's what listening is. Listening
I think if more of the younger generation did that very thing, this industry could turn itself around.
Yo, I'm 45 years old and I don't listen well. So it's not just
I
the
was
younger
trying to give you
We
props,
agree with that.
dude. Yeah.
I'll
nice
add a
job.
little bit of something to that, Fate.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I'll basically say this. Each and every person learns differently. Therefore, you have to find out how it is they learn, offer that in a way that they want to learn it, if it's safe, of course. And then if they want your help, give it to them. If they want your 2 cents, give it to them. If they say, no, go away, then at least you've offered in a nice, plain way, and you've done your part.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Kenner Robbins said, I finished a lease and got my truck. The problem occurred after. That's when you need business mindset, and the objective is to get the truck. All you guys are correct. Yes, and I'm glad you clarified that because I didn't understand the way you put it earlier. You're almost explaining kind of the same thing happened to me too, because when I first bought my first truck, I was hit with a lot of repairs, and it took me forever to get caught up. And the problem is I didn't have the right mindset to run that truck, and that's where my problems started. And it is really, everything we're talking about here with having the business mindset and all that, it's because of that. I've listened to a lot of everybody said on this panel in many private conversations, as well as a lot of other people, and I'm willing to listen. I'm willing to accept that I don't know it all. And I think if more people outside of this show watching this show would understand, you don't know it all. Don't have that ego-heavy thought in your mind that just because you turn the key and drive the truck, you know it all. You know, it's just like a comment right before he says they can't listen, no CB radios. Well, how many of these younger fellas even know that CB radios are a thing, like a tool that helps? They're not it's not an ego thing, you know? You don't have a CB because it's cool. You have a CB because it's a tool. Just like the truck you drive is a tool. How you buy it, it's a tool.
I'm a tool.
Is the business.
I don't know. I think it is pretty cool, though. I'm just saying.
You would say that. Just saying. You know.
I wanted to throw this in here. Since you guys are talking about how listening to other different people, right?
Right.
Well, take me for instance. Like Grumpy up here, we've been in about the same amount of time. I've hauled everything you could think of except for cattle, which is what I'm doing now.
Right.
I had to listen to a 31-year-old.
Hey, now I'm 33.
Oh,
Yeah.
33, sorry, who is also my boss. So, yeah, you have to listen. Sometimes some of these younger generations can surprise you.
Well, yeah. It's not just so much the younger versus the older. Everybody's got different experience. You know what? I'm older than probably 3 of you on the panel. But I listen to you guys, and I learn a lot from you guys. Maybe 4. Because, wait.
Hey, boss
1,
man.
2.
This
3.
is an obvious point. Can I prove a point?
Go ahead.
All right. For everybody that's out there watching, the younger truckers or anybody that's watching, I'm going to go around the panel and ask each person one question. And I guarantee I can tell you what their answer is going to be ahead of time unless they're being difficult. Fate trucking. Everybody else will answer exactly the same. So, honestly, guys,
I'll humor
do you
you.
know,
I don't
do you
know
know
where
everything
you're
about
going.
trucking?
Oh, hell no.
I said
No.
Frank.
He's going around the thing. Frank, you first.
Hey,
Grumpy.
Here, yeah, Grumpy. Sorry, Grumpy. Sorry about that. Grumpy, do you know anything
Yes.
about trucking? You do?
I learn something new each and every time I get behind that wheel, to be honest with you.
So you don't know everything about trucking?
I'll be back, guys. Sorry.
Oh,
Go ahead.
No problem. Hey, Poet, you've been driving longer than all of us probably combined. You know, you and your 150 years of experience. So, are you still learning when you're out there?
Well, I'm retired now, and I'm still learning every day.
There you go. There you go.
There you go.
I could go. I could keep going, guys, but I have a feeling they're all going to say the same thing. Larry.
Common theme here. Yep.
Larry.
What? What was your question?
Do you know everything in trucking?
No, I do not. And the day I think I do is when I hang up my keys.
John, do you know
Please
everything
go.
in trucking?
Please go down and subscribe. Comic
I don't know
relief
everything.
is
I'm
not
still
our
learning
only
too.
asset in this
Bumper,
show.
do you know
Thank
everything
you.
in trucking?
I own a business and I know a trucking business and I don't know everything. I'm still learning stuff.
Boss
Yeah.
man, you know everything in trucking?
Obviously not. No, I'm learning
Okay.
every day. You
Okay,
knew that
Fate.
before you asked me.
Okay, Fate. So, do you know everything about trucking?
He's
Put
not
him
going
on
to
the hot
answer.
He's not going to answer you because he knows what you're doing. He knows
No, I
exactly
don't.
what you're doing.
I don't
Yeah,
know
nice.
everything. No.
No.
Guys, that
Okay.
just proves you with this panel of experience. I have the
Yeah.
least about of all these guys, I'm pretty sure. And with all this experience, and they're all telling you they don't know everything, you don't either. Don't be afraid to ask the guy next to you.
Well, can I?
I'm sure they'll be happy to help you.
Can I expand? Can I expand on that real quick?
Go ahead, Pete. Go ahead.
John, I think that was a great thing that you just did. And what I mean by that is like in personal conversations with other truck drivers throughout the day that I have, I hear things that I don't understand why they don't know something. Something as simple as, you know, like greasing your fifth wheel, right?
Very
a lot
important.
of people don't realize that should be done more than just your PM services.
How often
You
should
know
it be
what I
done?
mean?
How often should it be done? Just in case somebody watching doesn't know.
We do it twice a
Just
week.
kind of ask that. Yeah.
I
Twice a week.
do mine
Okay.
once a week.
Okay. Once a week,
Once to
twice a week.
twice a week is what I would like to see.
Anybody in the comments, if you think differently, put it in the comments. Let us know. 'Cause we always want people to benefit from our knowledge. So there's different
unfortunately-
schedules, different purposes. I mean, because the point I heard mentioned and flew around the conversation was that not every time do people change out trailers. Someone like myself in Landstar, I was frequently doing dropping hooks. I had grease on me, with me, and greased it frequently, maybe more than once a week. So, yeah, like,
I'm sorry, you were living in
yeah.
it from the sounds of it.
Yeah. No, I mean, I did frequent dropping hooks, so I was always greasing the kingpin, the claw, everything. I mean, the whole thing.
Boss man,
What?
are you saying that you're a greasy person?
You know what? Somehow, leave it to the two Johns to go there.
With
Leave
that
it
much
to
grease,
them.
boss man, you might want to have your cholesterol checked.
You want to go there?
Yeah.
I was going there when you were talking about dropping.
Somebody just got deep fried.
I know this show just went south real quick.
Just remember, there's two drivers in here that hauls a load of 26 to 45 fatties in the trailer. So,
Well, you got a lot of weight. You need to have that bad boy greased up. Go ahead, Poet.
Coming back on John's diatribe.
Yeah.
Don't
Diatribe?
be afraid to ask. Yeah. Don't be afraid to ask questions. The only stupid question is the one you never ask.
Yep.
And
That's not true.
No,
Thumpers
and
are.
how do you
Thumper
Poet,
has been
how do you-
picked at.
Poet, how do you finish that? How do you finish that, Poet?
I just did. If I don't know something, I will ask.
Right.
The only stupid question is the one I never ask. And there's no such thing. Yeah, okay.
No,
Go ahead.
no. Poet, I'm gonna add to that because I said that all the time. There's no such thing as a stupid question.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't. It was been like a month or two ago. I actually had a question asked me, and it stopped me in my tracks. And I looked at him and just said, "Really?
Wow."
Are all hammers the same?
Did you
Remember?
ever ask what the difference between a cow and a bull was?
But
no.
But if you don't know, Thumper,
I asked him. It was there's a gate that goes down into the nose. I said, does that gate have to be open, or whatever, or it was something? The gate has to be. Does it have to be open for the cows to go in there?
Well, yeah.
You know, guys. I
smell a lot of bull in this conversation. I'm just saying.
Hey, I got one more thing to add, guys. If you're gonna
What's that,
drop,
Doc?
make sure you roll also, because that's how you get the fire out. Just saying.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
Cool.
You guys are incredible. Can always count on it. The first group of comments.
Just hold
jokes,
on, real quick.
and jokes.
Just
Go ahead.
just jump in the water to get the fire out.
Oh, heck no, I'd rather burn
If it's
it
a
down.
grease fire, it's not going to come out with water.
Yeah, if it's
No,
a grease fire,
that's inside joke.
Great comeback. If it's a grease fire, it's not gonna go out with water. So forget
What do
that.
you do when you're on fire? Dump more gasoline on it.
Hey,
There you go.
it'll only hurt for a little while, but it won't for long.
There
And the
you go.
only one
I've
that's
had-
going to be on a grease fire is Boss Man, evidently.
All right, Faye. Be nice now. Don goes on to say, I've had drivers ask truly stupid questions, things I learned when I was a kid. Hey, we all get that. You know, I mean, how many times are you sitting in truck stops and you watch people do stupid stuff day after day after day?
I would
How
like
do
to
people
comment.
learn? Go ahead.
Don, there is no actual stupid question. The only stupid question, to be honest with you, is one that has never been asked. Just so you
Frank, I have a
know it.
question. Frank, I have a question. Why do
Go
you
ahead,
have an
John.
Amish beard if you're not Amish?
Because don't you know, I'm from up in the Amish, and I've escaped.
Do you still believe there's no stupid questions?
He's from
paradise.
He's
yeah.
All right, guys.
I live in Amish paradise, my friend.
Let me conclude tonight's show talking about lease programs, fleet owner, links in the description. I would like you guys to take advantage of reading that link, get familiar with that story, because it could happen one day. This task force has looked at it. They've made decisions. They've made a report. It's worth looking at. Lease purchase programs by themselves are not the end of the world. They can, if done properly, be a tool when used properly, can give you a way to owning a truck. But don't just point blank go into it without looking at the details. Make sure you do your homework. As it's been said, there's no such question that's dumb if it's not asked. Do not hesitate. Ask questions, do the research, fill in the blanks, do it right, because you know what? It always helps to do it right the first time. The second time, it's just an experience, and it costs more. So that being said, guys, I want to introduce everyone watching to this panel. Their links are down below. Go take a moment, look at their channel, become a subscriber, become familiar, and come back here next week for another exciting show about another news show, another news topic you need to know about. We will make trucking great again. Guys, I love it. I'm glad you are part of the show. I'm glad you're with me. So, parting thoughts, Sumper?
I had fun. This is actually really good. Going on an hour and a half.
Yep.
He's gone. But no, it was a lot of fun. I appreciate everybody who showed up along. I can say that for the whole panel. We all appreciate it. We don't just sit here and spread our knowledge just because we want to. We do it to encourage you guys to make trucking again. Work together.
Yes.
Help one another out. That's the only way we're going to make it great again. Like I always say, God bless the troops. God bless everybody. Just God bless everybody. I mean, everybody works so hard to do stuff. Keep up the hard work. New year, all I can do is get better from here. So,
amen. Amen. John, I want to welcome you to the panel. Thank you for stopping by again.
Thank you.
Giving us your time. John, Driving with John, thank you for being part of the panel tonight.
Just remember,
I want to
take
take amen to that. And I want to take just a moment to remind you guys that I'm not only here for this show, but I'm also here for other purposes too. This channel is for you guys to learn, become better, and contribute. Don't just sit on the sidelines. Contribute. Offer us your talent, offer us your thoughts, and help us make trucking great again. It's you. It's the trucks that make the groceries, but it's you that makes the groceries. Till next week, next news story, and the next experience. Remember, guys, between the lines, keep it upright, keep it faith, and keep it rolling.